How can the people of two countries help each other? By building new networks of resourceful, insightful citizens, the U.S.-Russia Social Expertise Exchange sets a new model for collaborative change.
This program, the Social Expertise Exchange, is predicated on the idea that ordinary Russians and ordinary Americans, if they put their heads together, can help each other solve problems that affect their daily lives in material ways.
Eurasia Foundation's SEE initiative helps experts from a variety of fields set their own goals and agendas for projects benefiting both countries.
Мне кажется, что для программы крайне важно, чтобы общественные организации, активные люди, находящиеся в Америке и в России, чтобы они понимали, какое огромное количество возможностей есть во взаимодействии двух стран, какие успешные результаты есть в том, чтобы использовался опыт наших сообществ.
SEE builds on the blueprint laid out at Eurasia Foundation's 2009 Civil Society Summit in Moscow.
Through the work that you do, you underscore what I believe is a fundamental truth in the 21st century, that strong, vibrant nations include strong, vibrant civil society.
Since then, Eurasia Foundation has facilitated the growth of several thematic working groups. The groups set goals for the coming year at annual conferences where they share their successes and plot new directions for their projects.
It brings the people from these two countries together, these two big, important countries in the world, the US and Russia, and it allows us in a forum to discuss ideas and problems that we have in common.
Led by a joint U.S.-Russian steering committee, SEE consists of two interconnected components. Working groups made up of individuals that identify and address the most pressing issues in Russia and the U.S., and fellowships that provide emerging and established professionals the chance to enhance and share their expertise abroad. Composed of experts from the U.S. and Russia, SEE's thematic working groups exchange best practices and experiences while designing and implementing projects that benefit both countries.
Бэкграунд, на основании которого мы пытались выработать проект, он очень различается. Различается все. Под одним и тем же термином мы понимаем абсолютно разные вещи, потому что у нас другие законы, у нас другой менталитет, у нас много чего другого. Но, как выяснилось, у нас очень много общих проблем, которые мы пытаемся каждый решить по-своему.
The Education and Youth Working Group generated helpful guidelines for developing educational standards and produced a short documentary on teaching models for both countries.
A good way to connect youth to their community is to involve them in authentic projects where they can actually make a contribution and see the impact of what they've done. And one of those ways is through service learning. The model that we're using is cyberfair and is where young people create virtual exhibits about their local community.
The Child Protection Working Group focused on building and disseminating knowledge of how the child protection system operates in Russia and the U.S.
Сейчас работаю с американцами в рамках программы «Обмен социальным опытом и знаниями». И знаете, что меня потрясло? У нас есть хорошие формы. Интересно, формы есть в Штатах, поэтому мы договорились о таком проекте, как социальный рекрутмент семей для подростков. Посмотрим опыт. Но у них проблемы те же самые, что и у нас.
Through site visits and extensive research, the working group analyzed child protection institutions and practices. Their comprehensive study offers insight valuable to institutions in both countries. Other working groups focused on issues such as rural community development, portrayal of migrants in the media, and ecosystem management techniques in Russia and the U.S. Working group priority areas identified at the SEE conference also became the foundation for bilateral linkage projects implemented by sets of partnering U.S. and Russian organizations.
I would have people to take pictures of me on the subway. I would have people that would harass me and just
This film, about life as a little person by John Novick, was produced along with 30 other documentary films as part of a project that connected journalists to people with disabilities in New York, Sergiev Posad, and Krasnoyarsk, raising awareness on a wide range of disability issues. Another project organized the first ever U.S.-Russia Joint and Dual Degree Conference, bringing together more than 50 university representatives interested in learning about establishing and enhancing dual and joint degree programs between the two countries. SEE's Higher Education Working Group also contributed to this project by publishing a how-to guidebook for establishing academic partnerships. 2014 saw the launch of SEE's new fellowship component, an exchange program for both advanced and emerging experts from Russia and the U.S. The inaugural class of SEE Fellows brought together over 70 individuals from 16 U.S. states and 17 diverse regions of Russia, ranging from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok. Fellows were matched with host organizations and contributed to working group projects while expanding their professional experience abroad.
We are now trying to work on the kind of project in our head that we will try to launch when we come back to Russia.
Much of the work was done by the fellows in both countries, and that was a growth experience of not only having senior fellows working with more junior fellows. It was very enriching, learning experience for all of us on both sides of the border.
Traveling from Sacramento to Kansas and Arkhangelsk to Tomsk, fellows learned about rural community development. Visiting Utah, Wyoming, and Irkutsk, they experienced nature preserve management firsthand. And in Minneapolis and Novosibirsk, they reported on local stories of interest to citizens in both countries.
To be able to go share ideas from America with Russians and get feedback, I didn't even think that was possible. When I went to Russia, it changed my way of understanding the world.
Специфика программы АСОС в том, что она очень динамичная, очень активная и активизирует большое количество творческого ресурса.
Для меня программа АСОС – это уникальная возможность для профессионалов высокого класса работать вместе.
By bringing these communities together, SEE sets the stage for the growth of sustained partnerships between Russia and the U.S. for years to come.